Can you imagine Cher walking through that supermarket with no bra on? Can you imagine? Hi everyone, I am Rob the Scholar.
And I am Nate the Fool.
This is Bitch I Ain't Scared, a.k.a. Fearbias. Welcome to episode 5. I hope you guys are enjoying the summer so far.
Ugh.
I know I am.
Yuck.
I love the heat.
Hate the heat. It's the worst.
Love it.
Plus, it's not even hot.
It's not even hot. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, well, that's the thing. It's going to get hotter.
Yes, August is always really hot, but this is when I get sick. In June, you can probably already hear it. I get sick in June because it's like, it doesn't know what it wants to do. So I'm over it.
So that sound was like a roller coaster. It was a wave because you can't see the visual sound that he just made, but he goes up and down with his.
They felt it.
What he was trying
All right,
to say.
they felt it. They're smart.
Well, this is also Pride Month, so happy Pride to you, Nate.
Happy Rainbow Month everywhere.
For the remainder of June, we have 2 episodes to look forward to, including this one, and we're going to gay it up a little bit for Pride Month. So, in addition to some horror talk, we'll have some gay-themed stuff that we'll bring up, and we may even revisit what we did the last time we did Bitch I Ain't Scared during Pride Month, which was just objectify men and just list all the hotties we've seen since the last time we were on the podcast. So that might happen on the next episode 6. But today we just have some really fun stuff to talk about. Also some goofy stuff, some random stuff, useless stuff. Get used to it. Where should we start?
Now, today we're going to be super intellectual, actually, and we're going to have all the good breakdowns, maybe. I guess I'll start by saying I recently watched Army of the Dead, and I really just don't care about the movie, but I absolutely want to highlight the Alpha Queen. If you watch the movie, and she's in the trailer real quick. I remember watching the trailer and thinking, ugh, she's going to give me nightmares. She reminds me of Angela from Night of the Demons, 1988. Yeah, super scary actress. Her name is Athena Parampil. I hope I'm saying that right. And she's like a stunt woman. Doesn't look like that at all. Totally different. I tried to look her up and I was like, oh, I never would have known. She could walk next to me in the grocery store. Have no idea, but totally terrifying. Totally terrifying. That's all I have to say about that movie.
I want to say that anyone out there, don't sleep on the Night of the Demon series. Just don't do it. That series knows exactly who they are. They give 2 shits. They are the goofiest horror. I mean, would you even call it a horror comedy? Because it's just so out there. Or is it really genuine horror where they're just having fun? I mean, I don't know. But don't sleep on it. The series is hilarious. It's just they're just doing whatever they want, and I love that. And Angela is not somebody to fuck with.
She's scary.
I like her. I think she's a really cool villain.
Yeah.
But yes, The Crown definitely gives off that vibe with our zombie queen for sure. As far as Army Dead, I don't know if you guys follow us on Instagram. We do our best to make sure that we post a score rating of any horror movie that we watch, and then also maybe give 1 or 2 quotes of what we thought. But for me, it was, I just don't know about this one. That's all I had to say. I mean, Army of the Dead, without giving away spoilers, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay, but that movie should have been a lot better, especially for how long it was.
I know, that damn epic, they're trying to get an Oscar with that runtime.
Yeah.
I thought it was, being set in Vegas. It was like, I guess there never has been a zombie movie set in Vegas. Fun. The zombies, what they chose to do with them, that was cool. That was fine. Maybe some of it I've seen before, but I thought it was fine. Slight spoiler, it's just the humans for me. I think I said that in my little snippet review. It's just the people. People are annoying and they make decisions and I don't like it. That's all. That's all. So if the characters were smarter and it's like, oh, this is how you choose to like execute this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to review the whole movie in this episode, but I will say that some of the characters did stand out to me, and I was rooting for certain people to live, and others I definitely didn't care for at all. And I think there is a little bit of a consensus online that agrees with me. I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to spoil your experience, but I have a feeling you'll come to the same conclusion. This character sucks. But aside from that, I could have taken a 2 hour and 40 minute Viva Las Vegas cover and just had just action, just silent. Just give us an Up movie for the entire film. That, you ain't got to say a word.
Yeah.
Just give me the action, put music over it. I mean, I loved that opening sequence. Yeah. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was good.
And I would have loved more of that kind of like intensity. And then, like you said, yeah, the people just weren't folks to just get behind. And some were just kind of wasted. Yeah, so as far as the zombies, I thought the action was cool. The makeup was cool. It reminded me a little bit of Left 4 Dead, the video game, where there were different types of zombies as far as evolution. Oh, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all. So I give that a little bit of credit too. And the idea of it definitely makes sense. This movie is blowing up on Netflix. I mean, I can't remember if it broke records, but it's definitely doing a lot of damage, and they're getting tons of like follow-up movies. So I mean, it's doing something right, but honestly, it's not GOAT, you know.
Enough said. Moving on.
Yes, enough said with that. Yes.
It's time for horror trivia, and I don't care what anyone says. Witches of Eastwick is going in the horror category. Fight me, right? In The Witches of Eastwick, who was Susan Sarandon originally supposed to play?
I had no idea, but yeah, I guess I will think about this. Well, this question is simultaneously being posted on Twitter and Instagram. So, for those who are following us, will see this. And if you happen to know the answer or want to take a guess, reply. And then by the end of this episode, we'll see if anybody tried and got it right. And then Nate will give us the answer.
I guess I just wanted to get your opinion on something real quick. Again, old news. People report on these things 2 seconds after it's out. But I've been waiting to hear something. They finally cast an actress to play Wednesday Addams in the Netflix series.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This is live action?
Yes.
Because I thought this was an animated series.
It's going to be live action, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yes. So they cast Jenna Ortega.
Wait, is that homegirl from Babysitters?
Yes.
The Babysitters? I love her.
Okay, I'm glad you feel that way.
I love her.
Yeah, I think I like her. I was like, oh, I like that. I'm glad they, didn't exactly go with like just a white girl who's like pale and dead. And I feel like, yeah, she has a lot of like her deliveries. I just watched that movie yesterday. It's very cute. She's in that as well.
Oh, it is cute. Yeah, she's good in that. I like that one too.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I feel like she'll do something fun. She can be very dry and like, I hate everything, but she has levels. So I'm looking forward to it.
So I wonder, with this ethnicity change, or more of a predominant one, are we going to get other members of the family in there, and will it be the same? Like, is she adopted or mixed family? Who knows? Step sibling? Who knows? I just wonder if they're going to try and incorporate the rest of the family with this. But that is I did not expect that.
I feel like Gomez has always been portrayed as he's not exactly white, In the original TV series, yes, everybody was white. But, once we got the movies with Raul Julia, It's like, oh, his name is Gomez. He's not a whitey McWhitebread, you know, he's something else. So at least him, I feel like they will do that. Even in the animated movie they just did, they cast Oscar Isaac, and you know, we'll see. We'll see. They probably won't make Morticia Latina. She'll probably still be white if she even pops in at all. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to this now. I'm digging the idea.
Yeah, so am I. I think that's awesome. Thanks for finding that out. That gives me a lot more hope with this series, to be honest. So
yeah.
Kudos to that. I also want to do another update because in our first episode, I did talk about possible horror sequels and remakes being made, and I brought up the rumored idea of Firestarter coming back,
right,
but also gender swapped. Well, it turns out that there will be a Firestarter movie, but it is not gender swapped. They will keep it a female Firestarter.
Okay.
But this is something that I didn't know, is they already cast the lead, which I'm assuming will be her father. Guess who grew up to be a daddy now in movie roles?
Who?
Zac Efron.
So he's the parent?
It just says he's the lead. So I'm assuming he will probably be the parent.
He's the lead?
He is the lead. This is from an article, Cinema Blend. This was in April that they announced this. And apparently he is playing the lead. This is by Blumhouse, by the way.
Right, okay. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he had powers, right, too, right? Like,
yeah,
if I remember correctly,
I think it was him, so she inherits it from him, yeah. Well, look at that, kids. He did enough musicals, and now he's turned to horror. Why? Because everybody does horror. Eventually.
All right, now, real quickly, what do you think about The Munsters by Rob Zombie?
So my face I just turned into like a lemon squid. Okay. Well, no, thank you.
I don't know if we're getting an origin story, but he is definitely been greenlit to bring them back from the dead.
Best wishes, warmest regards.
And what do you think about the Christine?
I knew you were going
remake?
to say that one.
You told me about that one. Yes.
So I'm living for that poster. I mean, it's like I almost don't even want to see the movie now. I'm like, this poster. And then it's like, it's set in the 80s. Love it. Yeah.
I like that they are not making it modern and they're keeping it in the 80s. There are just some stories that cannot be carried out today. And it's just best to keep it in that time frame, in that time capsule. I love that. So I've been looking forward to more. I did send you a text. I don't know if you went through with this. If you guys should know, Nate doesn't do trailers, but maybe he broke that with this particular series. They released a full trailer of Fear Street.
No, I didn't follow up. I was thinking about it earlier.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
I feel like I don't even want to. I just want to like dive in. I think, you know, like the little poster, the snippet that they put out earlier this year. I think I'm good. I'm ready. I don't need any more.
Yeah. I don't need any more either. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Let's go full throttle, no lube. I'm ready. In an effort to utilize other apps besides Netflix, I decided to watch a movie on Tubi. If y'all don't know what Tubi is, it's free and there's commercials, which it's not a problem. I have Hulu and I don't have Hulu Premium or anything. You know, there's commercials, so it's cool. It's fine. But I was really trying to find this other movie that I'd seen as a kid, and I came across it. No, it wasn't the witch movie I talked about last time, and I'll probably never figure that out. I'm still waiting if y'all figure it out.
You know, somebody did kind of, like, he didn't have any actual proof or whatever, but he wanted you to sort of explore the witchcraft series. Do you think it's a part of that at all?
And you know, I don't think it is, because I think all of those were like modern, I think. And
I mean, some of them could have had like a little bit of origin or whatever, but yeah, he just threw that out there and was like, maybe it's from the Witchcraft series. So
Yeah, I don't think any of those had any sort of. I don't think their stories were written out like that. But
okay, no, that's fair.
softcore porn. But hey, you never know. At any rate, I found this movie. I saw it when I was a kid. Thought it was kind of creepy, and I thought I'm gonna rewatch it. Moral of the story, kids: do not rewatch movies that were scary when you were a child. They're probably not scary anyway. It's called Spellcaster, and it's one of those movies that was made, and then it took like 4 or 6 years to be released. They shot it in 1986, and it didn't come out on Cinemax and USA Up All Night. It didn't come out until like the early 90s. But I remember seeing it when I was probably 6 or 7, I don't know. And all I could remember was this monster came out of a painting and took this woman. And then later, one of the other characters runs into her room looking for her, and she sees her trapped in the painting with this monster. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but yeah. Basically, the premise is MTV puts out this competition for 8 people to travel to a castle in Italy or something and search for $1 million. Meanwhile, they don't know that there's somebody in the castle who's trying to kill all of them in various ways to collect their souls. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. I did it for you. You're welcome.
Why not? This movie's not good?
Go ahead and watch it, Rob. Go ahead and watch it. I dare you. The cinematography is hard because it's very fuzzy. And it's like, yes, it's from the 80s, but it's very fuzzy. What I remembered as a kid being scary, it's like, oh, I don't know. My mind just multiplied and, it's like to the 5th power. It's like, no, this chair comes down and eats someone. It's not that scary. And it's like, you see it, like, it's like, okay, yes, we get it. The chair is going to eat this person. We don't need a 5-minute setup. Move faster. I don't know. I will say there's one person who's kind of well known. It was like her first or second movie, Gail O'Grady. And one of the biggest things she is known for is playing the mom on American Dreams back in like the early 2000s. I don't know if anybody remembers that show. She's done a lot. She's working. She's continued to work. The other actress who got snatched up into The Painting, she went on to be a soap opera star, so she's worked as well.
I like Gail O'Grady. She's funny. So one of her biggest movies was Deuce Bigalow. She was in that. And she did a lot of TV stuff. Tons and tons of TV stuff. Yeah, she had a big stint on Revenge that I remember. Yeah, just looking at her profile.
Yeah.
You can add a quarter to my list because I've never seen Spellcaster.
You know what, Rob? I rescind that quarter. I'm not going to put that on you. I'm just not going to do it.
No, you're not going to do it? Okay.
You don't have to.
Okay, no, that's fair.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Oh.
But I like the premise, though. The premise sounds not like great.
I mean, I know. It's like, it's one of those, it's like a Funhouse movie to me where it's like, what would I compare it to? Oh, like Waxworks.
Yeah. No, I had Waxworks in my head when you were describing it. And then, of course, the House on Haunted Hill remake deal kind of popped in too. But no, for sure. I thought of the same thing.
It's like each character has to is a different thing happens to each of them. So that's why I wanted to rewatch it. But I was like, no, this wasn't magical. I can still go back and watch Waxwork and be like, oh, this is fun. I love this. But yeah, man. But bonus, if y'all have seen the music video Take On Me by Aha from the 80s, the actress from that music video is in this movie.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, if you want to keep a game show, just watch Wrong Turn Part 2. That's like one of the best horror movie game shows out there. It was so good. Yeah, they were put into a reality competition challenge or whatever. And who was in it? Somebody from American Idol was in it. She was badass. And then
Really?
the guy hosting it. Hold on, I'm gonna get you some names because I really like this movie. So it's Wrong Turn 2, Dead End, and it's a reality show. Contestants, they find themselves fighting off, those the family of deformed, inbred cannibals or whatever. So Henry Rollins is the host. Texas Battle's in it.
Oh right. Oh right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, homegirl from
And
Black Christmas is in this one.
exactly, and the American Idol chick that I was talking about, Kimberly Caldwell, she was in this too, and she had a big. She didn't have a big role. I think she had a small one. You'd have to watch it, but it has great deaths, great gore, practical effects, and it for a follow up. I thought this movie held up.
All right,
and it has that game show setting, so check that out.
I will add it $2. I don't even remember most of the other ones I haven't seen. I have to
I'll try and remember what the cost is. I think you're at $2 or $2.50 right now, but it's all good. Yeah. Well, I'll make an official count later. This just popped in my head. I don't know why I thought about this or put any thought into it, basically, but Clue is my favorite movie as well as favorite board game.
Whoop, whoop.
And there have been tons and tons of variations of this game. I just recently bought a Disney villain one that actually looks beautiful. I love the pieces that they use, but it made me think, like, why don't we have a horror version? Now, I've seen a full-on, I believe I've seen a full-on Stephen King's It version of Clue. If not, it was Monopoly. I can't remember which, but I want to say there was an actual Clue version. But what if we got a mixture of the horror genre in a Clue game? Nate, I want to know who, what, where. I want to know all in your game. Who would be in your game?
Honestly, you're right. Why don't we have this? Because it would be so easy to do. Well, obviously, maybe it comes down to trademark and stuff like that I don't understand. But everything's laid out for you. It's kind of simple.
Is.
I mean, instead of the library, we have the boiler room.
Yes.
And
I have boiler room on my list.
Instead of the ballroom or whatever it is, you can just have a cabin, or you can have the lake. You can do so much. You can,
Well, let's start. Let's start with the characters.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
I actually added on like a different variation with this game. So basically, the game is Who Killed the Sole Survivor. So there's actually a fourth card that goes into the envelope as part of the game. You have to find out who died, who killed them, with what, and where.
Ah.
And so, yeah. So as far as the villains, I kept it just like Clue. There are 4 males and 4 females, or I'm sorry, 3 males and 3 females.
Okay.
So for the males, I put down Fred Krueger,
Right.
Candyman, and Mike Myers.
Okay.
Those are my males. Who would your males be?
Gosh, and it's so funny because I'm so basic, but I always think of Ghostface. It's just that Ghostface, we think of him as being male, but it's like you never know who's under that mask.
Understand. Remember, this show is called Fearbias.
Right.
Nate's got a bias for Scream. You're going to hear it a lot on this show, so
sure do.
Carry on.
Just wait until December, bitches. Yeah, I mean, like, I love that you have Candyman. Like, if you have Mike, you don't need Jason. So it's like you swap them out. Do Jason and Freddy go better together? It's like, I don't know. It's like I like the sleekness of Michael. I like how he looks. Jason, you never know what you're going to get. Is it a clean hockey mask? Is it cracked and made up? Who knows? Well, anyway, go for the women. Who you got?
So, like you said, if you have Michael, why do you need Jason? So why don't we just put Pamela Voorhees in there? Bam. That's one female.
True.
The other 2 females that I put down was Carrie.
Oh.
And Mary. Yeah. Carrie. Yeah, got her in there.
Yeah.
And Mary Shaw.
Mary Shaw. Okay. All right. There are obviously lots of ladies. And if you wanted to take a slightly more modern approach, you could throw good old Red in there.
Yes.
And you have that lovely pair of gold shears to choose from.
But yeah, I mean, I thought like with that bunch, there's a mixture of different types of horror genre in there, both human, monster, and whatnot. As my sole survivors, I also kept it 3 females and 3 males. For our final boys, I put Jesse Walsh, of course, has to be in our game.
Of course.
I put Ash for the fanatics, and Charlie Brewster.
Oh, Charlie. Okay, I was like, wait, yes, okay, got it.
What about Alex from like Final Destination or something?
Yes. Wait a minute.
Miss Claire.
Clear. Like, just put. We should have like some sort of like TV show about Clear and Tree and how they're best friends.
Oh my God, Tree! I didn't even think of her. We love Tree.
We love Tree, just not her name, Tree. So who are the ladies? Who are your sole survivors?
I chose the basics.
The basics.
Nancy, Sydney. The basics, yeah. Nancy, Sydney, and Lori. The basics.
True. Okay. All right. Yes, and obviously there's some other ladies that could be picked, but no, I mean those are some good, heavy hitters.
Now, with the weapons, necessarily does not have to match the killers that are on there, but yes, some are the same, some are not. Some can be used by different, but that's the whole fun of this is that you get a little mixture. Like, what if Freddy used like a butcher knife, or you never know, right? Yeah. What kind of weapons would you put in here just off the bat?
I think just to have some iconic imagery, yes, I would absolutely have Freddy's glove. I would have a chainsaw, even though he's not present. I would have to have a chainsaw just to mix it up.
Chainsaw's on my list.
I would probably have either a butcher knife or a hunting knife. It's very simple, but it's like Psycho, Scream. There's so many things that, it's like we always have to have a knife. People are afraid of knives.
Exactly.
Even though it's like, they're across the room. They can't get me. It's so scary. What else? Oh, yeah, I would definitely have a hook. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Candyman hook. It could be the hook from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Summer. Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. There's somebody else who has like, what is it, like Lover's Lane or something, like an escaped mental patient.
I remember Lover's Lane.
With,
I remember Lover's Lane. No, you didn't.
I'm just saying, yeah, it could be. I mean, what was I going to say? So we have Carrie, and it's like you can't exactly like exemplify like her mental power, but it's like she used lots of things to kill people. So it's like she used the fire hose to kill people. Those scissors. If we don't have Red, at least we have her scissors, because that's like
scissors.
Pretty memorable.
So for Mary Shaw, I did put a puppet in there, and that could go either way, and it kind of fills in the whole Chucky vibe too. Miss Dolly Dearest, all of them kind of are in there. I also put a sledgehammer, and this was more of an Ann Wilkes sort of vibe inspiration that I put in there for the sledgehammer. But then I also listed Samwise's sucker, his pumpkin sucker that was bitten off to make a weapon.
That one, yes.
Love that thing.
Actually, yes. That would have to be in there. And I just thought now, if I'm going to have a knife, maybe I would have the knife from the first Child's Play.
Oh, with
the design on it.
Zigzag, the little flame. Oh, yes, that's a good one. Yes, I like that knife. That one's cool. I like that. All right, so we got the weapons down. Okay, so locations. There are 9 locations. What do you want to see on this? And so for me, it doesn't necessarily have to be a house with rooms. This is a more expanded universe.
Yeah.
This is a neighborhood or a town or whatever. So what do you got in your list? What locations you like?
Something that popped into my head, it can kind of encompass different things, is a stage. It made me think of like Mary Shaw, the puppet show, and I think there's a lot of action on a stage in that movie. It made me think of Scream 2. I just watched it. Love it. And there's a big climactic moment on stage. Even, if you want to say like Phantom of the Opera, there's a stage, so I feel like a theater room would be appropriate, or just a theater in general.
Did you watch The Gallows?
No.
That found footage one, which is kind of like Phantom of the Opera. There was not an opera house, but like a school play, and like the stage and the legend behind all of that. And these kids was like exploring about you. Oh, you didn't see that one? It's not bad. Not bad.
I don't even think I've heard of it.
They made a sequel.
Oh, okay.
They made a sequel for it, and so it got a little bit of a following. But yeah, the first one wasn't bad. Huh. Okay, so a stage. Anywhere else?
Yeah, like I said before. Oh yeah, and so maybe a cabin for Camp Crystal Lake. Or
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods,
bam,
it's
done.
like, yeah, so you got the cabin, Evil Dead cabin, definitely the boiler room.
Yes, I have the boiler room.
Oh, maybe even like a cave.
Oh, okay.
A cave, crypt, so that could be like lots of things, like so Dracula's lair, but also the Descent or
Catacombs.
Any of those
with pink.
Oh, see, yeah. So it's like there's just like, yeah, you could definitely do that. Oh, I was gonna say an attic. Is there an attic in Clue? I mean, definitely in the movie, but
so in the movie they added an attic, and also, well, they added a third and fourth floor. There was like the master bedrooms and then the attic, and then also a cellar. But in the game, it's all the first floor.
Oh, okay.
Just the main floor, which 9, yeah. But I mean, attic could be one, but it would be a part of a house. So maybe you can say like a haunted house, or also a haunted hill or something.
Just, there's a lot of
something like that.
There's a lot of activity in attics.
Yeah. So I had cornfield.
Yeah.
And I picked a high school. High school is very general for a lot of like horrific activities. Silent Hill is kind of like a thing that stood out to me as far as the game. I think they explored one in the movie, but yeah, the game for sure. That high school scene, or that elementary school scene, was
Yeah, I think those are all great. I mean, even if you wanted to have a classic cemetery.
Yeah, that works too. So I had Camp Crystal Lake. I also put the sewers.
Huh?
I also had Wax Museum in here too.
Yeah, I
was like, why not?
There's lots of different options, and maybe it would be kind of fun where it's like you have 3 interior locations and then sort of 3 exterior. Yeah, could totally be good.
Yeah, I would love a horror version of Clue. I just think it would be so much fun. The closest that I came to with a game like this is called Mixtape Massacre. Have you heard of this?
Yes,
board game?
I remember you talked about it, and did you play it?
Oh, I own it. Oh, it's the game has gotten expanded into so much stuff. They added alien invasion. They had it some other great themes that you would see. But the biggest thing is that it's all surrounded by 80s. Like a lot of the victims that you kill are from the 80s in pop culture, and the killers are inspired by our horror icons. So there are a lot of like carbon copies, but little light versions of them because of copyright or whatever.
Right.
So you play the killers and you are trying to kill as many, victims in this like small town of Tall Oaks or something, I think it's called. It's a fun game. I think with the right people, this horror game can be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's probably the closest that come to it, but hopefully we'll get a Clue one someday. And also, if you're in LA, which again is a little not horror related, but because we're on the subject of Clue, there's a walkthrough interaction mystery game that is Clue related.
Ooh.
So let's say you were doing like a bar crawl, right? You would just go to different locations as part of one event. Basically, they took a location and turned it into one of the rooms. And so when you're done investigating a character or whatever and interviewing them, then you go to another location, which will be the ballroom, which could be like 2 or 3 blocks down. Who knows? But it's this interactive thing that's going on all summer here in LA. I'm probably like 60% might go before August is over. But it sounds fun.
It does sound fun. I hope you get to go and report back.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Yeah. All right, so this is the portion of the episode where we gate up a little bit. I want to talk about some queer characters that we may not have talked about the last time we did this show, or some that have come up, or just, anything that you want to kind of bring up as far as the queer characters in horror. We haven't gotten a whole lot yet, but they're out there.
Yeah,
they're in there.
They are.
They're just underground, but we finally got one on the big screen this past year from Freaky, so I was happy to see that. One day we'll be the lead and we'll get our own, we'll see. But what are some of the queer characters that you've thought of or came across in the last year or so?
Well, a month ago, I don't even know why I was looking this up. Sometimes, and I think it was around the time I was looking up Spellcaster, and then I thought about 80s things, and I came across the character of Belle. Had no idea this was the character's name, but Belle, who is this rollerblading vampire from Fright Night Part 2, the original sequel from 88. And I remember being terrified as a child. The first time we see this character, this girl like drops her books and she's like trying to pick them up, and here comes Belle. Eyes are like glowing and the hair is just like everywhere, and it's like, now I see this and I'm like, oh yeah, this character is very queer. And I looked into the performer, the actor, and I had no idea that this person was so amazing, because I don't know about choreographers, but their name was Russel Clark. I'm saying they because, I don't want to like assume he, they were a pretty well-known choreographer in the 80s, 90s, all the way up until their passing. I think they passed away. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, they did a lot of music videos. I think they did the black and white music video for Michael Jackson. This movie never speaks a word, which, in present time, it's like, that's a problem that this character didn't get to speak ever. But also, it does add to the element of fear. At least for me, I was like, ooh, this character is so scary that they don't have to say one word. And I'm sure being a choreographer helps so much. They're a dancer, so it's like they express themselves through their face and their movement. And it's still, looking at the pictures and things, I'm like, it's still kind of scary. So just wanted to highlight them. And they are a queer person of color. A lot of characters out there, but this is one that's been around for a very long time. And thank you to Russel Clark, and rest well. You scared the fuck out of me.
I will say that Russell I will say that Russel Clark is a definite person to highlight today. And for not saying a word, I think his look, it just screamed 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely made an impact, and regardless if he did it for the illusion of flying, I don't care. This is what you did in the 80s. If you're gonna kill somebody, you do it in style, and that's what he did. The man had hairspray on call. He was great.
Yeah.
And I really wish I could remember what was going on. I was either on another podcast and this man was brought up, this character, just out of nowhere, and then we happened to talk about him on the anniversary of his death, because that's when I learned about him, passing away. And this was back in March. He passed away in March 8th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
But sometime last year, we brought him up. We were just talking about how cool he was, and then wow, you look him up and it's like, what a coincidence. It just happens to be his anniversary. And it was so serendipitous to kind of like talk about him in that manner. And I find his character to be so cool. I can't say that I was scared of him, but he definitely made an impact. He had the position, and you can tell he's a choreographer, just the way that he would stylize the way that he would attack, and just so good. Mm-hmm. So good. I like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion about some of the queer characters that we have come across since the last time we kind of had this conversation. One that I'll bring up is from Scary Movie. This is Ray Wilkins, played by Sean Wayans, and he played that sort of gay / bisexual jock who was kind of in the closet, didn't really, like, he was obvious, quote unquote, but he never officially came out.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion about this character. Do you find him to be offensive back then? Do you find him to be offensive today? Or was it just the right amount of comedy to where it wasn't mocking a flamboyant character? Or was it a highlight and a tribute to those type of characters? Like, what do you think about that portrayal?
Mixed feelings. I definitely remember laughing when I saw the movie the first time. But yes, looking back now, it's like, yes, this is how you know someone's gay. But I mean, I think maybe the comedy is like, now it's like he does everything he possibly can to communicate he is not straight. He's not hetero. And, it's just, it's still funny. I think there's still a sense of humor about it, especially at the end. What? I ain't gay. It's like, you sucked my dick. It's like, whoa, all right.
Yeah, that was so funny.
It can be funny, but then it does speak to a larger issue of how a lot of people will identify that way of, yeah, I might like do certain things, but I'm not gay. So it's tricky. It can be. I don't know. He's not exactly a queer character I love.
I will agree with you. I think today it would be a little hard to sell this character on screen, given the social commentary and highlight of that type of stereotype. Should we exclude all flamboyant characters just because that was the highlight of the 80s and early 90s of what a gay man should be? I think there is still room for, feminine and flamboyant characters and gay characters or queer characters to be on screen. So I'm not saying that's the reason why it's problematic. It's just, again, just sort of like, this is what it says to be a gay person. And there's a little more to that. And while his character was definitely sexual, that's the taboo, that's the line that separates the two, right? So obviously you want to enhance that and elevate it so much that he's just this sex-crazed teen who, loves tucking in and tying a shirt and, getting all kinky with his girlfriend and football gear.
Take it, Brendan, take it.
Yeah.
Ho!
There is a little bit of an offensive remark to this. I think the reaction to his character was kept well. Like, they didn't make it look like it was disgusting to do A, B, and C. They allowed him to be, over the top and whatnot. And the reception was like either silence, awkwardness, or I'm not like that. But there was never just this, oh, you're disgusting because you do this. Or, I don't think they used the F word or anything like that. So they could have obviously gone there, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at stuff from back in the day. It's how is that character treated in response? Can he be out and be funny or be present and still be accepted,
Right. Yes. And I definitely think that if we went to the filmmakers, they would probably defend it in that way of saying, look, nobody reacted to him in a horrible way. So, he basically did whatever he wanted, and, he didn't have to claim being gay or queer or anything. But I think audiences watching that, it was a big joke. So, yes, it is a big spoof, ridiculous movie. Everything is over the top. But there are certain things that, audiences might hold on to and think, yeah, that's what gay people are. They're a joke. But, it's a spoof comedy. It's probably not to be taken too seriously. It's 21 years old now. What? So.
I know. Crazy. Well, so another one that I wanted to highlight is the horror-esque, so horror musical, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Our Frankenfurter, the legendary Tim Curry, brought us transsexual highlight, Spotlight from Transylvania. He didn't have any qualms hitting on both Brad and Janet. The man was an opportunist for all, but he also was very sex positive. he would create men only for his pleasure. That's basically was his only mission, is to have pleasure, but spoke his mind. But yeah, just always just positive about what he is into and everything. Never, took shame. Like, the man was out and proud, and his career could have like literally just went flat, right? He could have completely just hated on this, and this man took this character and made him an icon. But I wonder, is he over the top and silly enough to be accepted into straight culture, or do you believe that he did a really good thing for transsexual, identity or whatnot? And maybe I'm overthinking this, but I'm thinking like with Will and Grace, and you think, Jack McFarlane, on how, flamboyant he was. He's just one of those gays that are accepted into straight culture because we're laughing at him. So I don't know. What do you think about that? I wish that I could remember sort of the reception or the, of this character, but I don't know. Do you think that he just passes for like the one that makes it?
I pretty much agree with everything that you said. I do like Rocky Horror. I think when I was younger, I was like, I don't get it. I don't know. But I have such a great appreciation for it because it was definitely ahead of its time. It's one of those movies that came out, nobody saw it, and now it's this huge cult following business. It's amazing. And that character, probably a little dated in certain aspects, but still ahead of its time, and I think still important. And like you said, just like going for whatever they want. Like Brad, Janet, doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get some here. So yeah, it's, I think that was still a good character to highlight today. I think that...
I mean, if anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be even just subjected just with the LGBTQIA. I mean, this is for queerness, this is for weirdness, this is for different, this is for unique, like all of that was highlighted. And I think that's why there is a cult following with this, because that character just highlights more than what you visually see. Like, all the weirdos are coming out and they're being proud of who they are. So I like that.
I swear you were about to be like, creativity, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
I could have definitely done that, right? So another character that kind of popped up, and this is an accidental gay icon in the horror genre, and that's the Babadook.
I still don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I reposted some sort of GIF meme, and I was like, this is cute and funny, but I don't understand. Whatever.
Okay, so there might be some folks out there that may not know. The origin is actually pretty simple. It's just, we just went with it. Gays have no problem making things iconic or memorable and turned into memes and carry on for, decades and decades to come. But like, Netflix accidentally put the Babadook in the LGBTQIA section.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
and
all right.
One person caught this and posted it online like, oh, apparently the Babadook is a gay movie. And so we took off with it. He is now the staple of queerness, and he is a gay icon. All of a sudden, you had signs of him at Pride during marches, and he will forever be a gay character. Now, again, we don't know the origin. Obviously, the director and the creator didn't plan for this, but once we get our hands on something, we're not going to let it go. And it is also elevated into him being in a relationship with our current Pennywise. They are apparently in a relationship together. You haven't heard of this?
No. No. I'm just shocked right now.
Yes, yes. It like we've taken it to the next level, and I don't think anybody's really let go. I think there are people today still preaching the good word of the Babadook being a part of our culture. So, and by accident, this is just by accident. Just one little thing changed this character for life.
Right.
So I thought
Babadook,
that I'd bring that up.
definitely demisexual.
The last person that I thought of that I wanted to get your opinion about was the use of sort of a non-gender conforming character in horror, and that is our very own Glenda from Seed of Chucky. What is your opinion about this character, this specific storyline, and its insertion into the Child's Play series? What were your thoughts about him or her? Or they?
Them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's I guess I'm glad it's there. I mean, the whole movie is like batshit crazy. So, you know what? Parents need to see what it's like to, have this big reveal from your child. So, if Tiffany and Chucky can do it, they can accept their child. You can too.
Well, this sort of mocks the whole idea of the Ken doll not being anatomically correct. And so,
Right.
with the birth of Glenn and Glenda from Chucky and Tiffany, this kid was born without genitalia, right? So, this child is growing up trying to figure out throughout the movie which gender he is or she is. And while this movie, again, is very batshit crazy, I do kind of respect the idea that by the end of the movie, there was never an answer given, And also, there was no need for an answer as well. Like, it was okay to not have decided. And the character was still accepted and into the culture, into them. I don't think people left the movies was like, why don't they pick one? What's the big deal? Like, it was okay not to have an answer. And I think that's pretty cool. But just the thought process that Glenda was going through the whole movie, I thought was very interesting. Just kind of questioning the whole idea of gender and sexuality
Right.
in itself, I thought was interesting. And to put that into a movie that is so out there was interesting. So, yeah, I'm cool with Glenda being around. I think it's a nice character. Like, do we need the character? Is it iconic? Is it historic? No, not at all. But in horror, people, you got something like this. And this is why queer people love horror so much, is because we can explore this type of topic without taking it full on political. It's a metaphor. It's just something to start conversation and to think about. So, yeah, I'm all up for it.
Yeah, I think you have taken something from this crazy movie and you've highlighted it. It's actually pretty important for people to be like, oh yeah, no big deal. It's like, yes, we know this character is a doll born from two crazy homicidal dolls. We know. But separate from that. And just remember, yeah, it's not a big deal. We're all obsessed with labeling things. And sometimes it's comforting to have a label for yourself. You don't need to impose that on other people. They don't need it. They don't want it. So you got to let it go. And we can all live happier. The only other character I can think of right now, off the top of my head, to highlight is, of course, our dear Lafayette from True Blood.
Oh, yes.
And his boyfriend, Jesus. Woo! Oh, he's so fine. Woo. Couldn't believe it when they killed him.
He is so hot.
Oh, I
so hot.
Can't believe they killed him. So awful. Yes. So Lafayette, very important character. Apparently died in the second book, but nope. Nelson Ellis rode through that entire series all the way to the end. Didn't die because everyone loved him so much. So again, rest well. Thank you for a very important character who never shied away from who he was and was always very comfortable. And if other people weren't comfortable with it, he let them know.
That scene of that complicated order is still circulating
Yes.
still circulate. I am still seeing posts about that legendary scene, how he set those white folks straight in that restaurant. Oh, so good. So
Yes.
good.
Love it. Oh my god, it makes me want to watch. Yeah, that first season, just everything that he did was great. And I mean, and yes, and then he became a witch, like big surprise, but it's like or, a medium, I'll say, yeah. But yeah, very very good character.
Definitely. Well, while there are so many queer characters that have come out and a lot has kind of been put out through, Shutter and Netflix and stuff in these sort of like under the radar films, definitely do, some searches and just kind of look. There's a lot of great stuff that's coming out in the horror genre with gay characters and queer characters right now. And whether the movie's good or bad, it's interesting how their characters are used in the film. And for the most part, you'll see some of them just sort of like in a movie to where they're just like any old couple going through some horrific stuff, And the reason why I say it like that is that this fear of just highlighting their sexuality within the film doesn't make a huge difference because we go through the same relationship crap that everybody else does, or any character that's in there. We all have problems with our family. We all have relationship problems. We all can get chased by serial killers. Who knows? Like it doesn't make a difference. You can put them in there and it won't change the whole theme of the movie. You can still carry out whatever message you want to put through and using queer characters. So yeah, they're out there. There's some really good stuff out there. And then, next episode that we have, we'll definitely continue this and talk more on the queer movie, the horror movie sort of vibe. Some movies that may not be gay, but couldn't help themselves but to to be gay, to be honest, 'cause that subtext is there.
Also, shout out to Dracula's daughter.
Yeah, I was reading about her today. Yeah, shout out to her for sure.
We're gonna go back to trivia time. Robbie, your time is up.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and the only character that I well tell everybody what the question was again.
So, the question, and I'm basically paraphrasing at this point. Whatever. In The Witches of Eastwick, Susan Sarandon was originally cast to portray which character? Heh, which character? See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Okay, so the only character that I can think of would be Felicia, played by Veronica Cartwright. So this is the Bible thumping. I saw her playing her if she wasn't one of the original three. So that's who I think.
Uh-huh. Well, Rob, that is such a great guess, and it is very incorrect.
I assume so. What about online? Did
Ah,
anybody get it right online?
no.
No, nobody got it right. Okay, well, it looks like you've stumped us again. Who is she gonna play?
So, Susan Sarandon was originally cast to play the character of Alex.
Really,
Alex
the
ended up
lead?
being played by Cher. Cher was cast to play Jane, but then she got the script and she told them, I like Alex better. And Susan Sarandon showed up for the first day of work and they were like, hey, girl, you're playing Jane now.
Stop it!
Because Cher wants to play Alex.
Oh man, woman, this ain't Moonstruck. You already got an Oscar. Like, simmer down.
And that's
Let
probably why they were like, she just won an Oscar. We'll do whatever. Or she's about to be having, I don't know. Maybe she was nominated at the time of filming. I don't know. But yeah, she
Oh
walked up in
man.
there. She was like, no, I want to play Alex.
Can
And
you
they,
imagine Cher walking through that supermarket with no bra on? Can you imagine?
I mean, it's like kind of, but it's like the transition of her being like mousy and, then suddenly like, oh, I'm vivacious and I'm letting my hair down. That I don't know if I really see that. I like Cher. I think I enjoy Cher, but it's, like she always plays these characters. It's like she's very straightforward and she's kind of always tough. I don't know if she could do like A to B. you know?
Gotcha. I can see Susan Sarandon giving that speech,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely. Yeah.
So that would have been a very interesting change.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, look at that. I got some. That's a very interesting trivia. I had no idea. No idea. If you guys haven't seen it, Witches of Eastwick, check it out. I showed a friend of mine. He was like, "It's a little weird, but whatever." I hear the book is a bit different too,
Oh,
but
right. Yeah, of course.
I dig this movie. It's one of my childhood favorites, and yeah, y'all can say how non-horror it is, but I'm sorry, that ending, yeah,
Mm-mm.
that gets
That
into some shit.
ending, there's all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, the whole cherry pit sequence. I mean, it's there's some disturbing things. It's not like terrifying, but man, come on. It's like, you dating the devil.
I
It's
had
gonna be
some
some issues.
I had some cherries lately, and I had that song playing in my head the whole time I was eating them. I know, and that's the thing. It's like before I was never really a cherry fan, but I was like, okay, I'll have one. And then I was
Hmm.
like, okay, these aren't bad, but that song kept playing in my head. I was like, only the two of us are eating these. We're not getting a third.
Have another cherry.
Right?
Ugh.
So it's time for another bitch really. I am going to give the bitch really of this episode. And what bitch really is we highlight a very stupid, horrible, or dumb decision. They either got themselves killed or somebody else killed, or just made a stupid mistake in a horror film. And the film I am highlighting today is Terrifier from 2018. I believe it's 2018, 2016, 18, depending on
Yeah.
how you look at a release date. But everybody is aware of Terrifier. This is one of the grossest, goriest movies you will ever watch, and it involves a clown serial killer. Well, towards the beginning of the movie, you have our two heroine who are in a diner or a restaurant, and they're just kind of like hanging out on their way from home or towards a Halloween party. And our terrifier, our Art the Clown, comes in, takes a seat, kind of gives them a stare. So we have two girls. We have Dawn, who is more of the adventurous of the two girls, and then we have sort of our lead, who is a little bit more cautious about her surroundings, but the movie kind of follows her. Well, so Tara notices Art the Clown first, and they're seeing eye to eye, and she's like, Dawn, something's up with this dude. He's looking at us. I don't know what's going on. And you turn around and you just see this horrifying clown just staring. Dawn decides that she wants to ignite her privilege and just go fuck with this dude and start fucking with him because, she can do whatever she wants without consequence. So she goes up to this man, not knowing who he is or what he's capable of doing, and starts messing around with him. Excuse me, hello, kind of waving her hands in front of him. And then she's like, do you mind if I take a picture with you, a selfie? And he doesn't even answer her. He doesn't say anything. He's still dead eyes on the other girl. He's looking a little sketchy. And she goes, I'm going to take your silence as a yes. And decides to sit in his lap, take off his little hat, touch him, and just do all of these things and literally take a selfie. And he's not reactive at all. She thinks that nothing can harm her. Bitch, really? I mean, how dangerous and idiotic can you be? That's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a horror film. And what do you know? Because of that, those two are now the central targets for the rest of the movie. And if you had just mind your own damn business, have you seen Terrifier?
No, but I have seen like a good portion of it to know what happens. I know that that's basically the inciting incident, and I know that shit does not end well, especially for Dawn.
Exactly. So yeah, if you guys look up this scene on YouTube, it's like Terrifier at Pizzeria or something, and it is just the most disrespectful thing I've ever. It's just so, but it just shows the entitlement of Dawn. And, I don't want to take this to like a moral aspect, but it's just like so disturbing that this girl really just felt like there was nothing wrong with what she was doing.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
No.
It's just really sad.
It's
and dangerous.
It's not a moral aspect, Rob. You are pointing out something that has been happening for decades. You can go back to a lot of 80s movies. You can even go back to Scream. These characters think nothing's going to happen to them, even though, meanwhile, people are being reported dead in the news. And, it's like you see Jason and it's like, it's like, this person looks kind of creepy. Do you know who this is? Stop, like puffing yourself up, like peacocking for everybody. Nobody cares. And now that you're dead, it's like, great. Now we gotta like be sad that you're dead.
I just think it's just, and it's not like, oh, Art the Clown, give him some respect. It's just that common decency to just think like, I can touch this whenever I want, or I can cross this line. This says not to touch. Oh, I'm going to flip the switch. It's just that little thing. She should know better.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like, she's never gotten in trouble in her life. Is that what's happening? It's just,
It's not saying like, oh, be meek and like, don't defend yourself. Absolutely defend yourself. But don't go looking for trouble. Like, who does that? People who grew up in the suburbs, that's who. Because they didn't have nothing to do their entire childhoods. They were bored out of their fucking minds. Man, I hate Dawn. Ooh.
Well, I definitely recommend Terrifier as a whole. The movie is amazing. Sequel should be coming out sometime next year, or maybe this year around Halloween. I can't remember, but we're definitely getting a sequel, and it looks great, so I can't wait for that. But that is our bitch, really.
Thanks, Rob.
Of course. And that's going to conclude our episode. We hope you guys enjoyed our horror and Pride Month conversation. Definitely come back in another 2 weeks. We got another episode in June where we're going to queer it up and talk more horror.
Exactly. I'm going to put on my gay hat so that you all know.
Everyone be safe out there. Yes, things are opening up, but we still have to be very cautious about where and when we celebrate things. And, let's keep it together. Encourage those to, get better and be better. And this is Fearbias, a.k.a. Bitch, I Ain't Scared.
And good luck to all the fully vaxxed tops and bottoms.